Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We have now all 7 board members in attendance. We'll return back to the agenda item, amending or agenda review to update those who were not coming, who had not made it in. We agreed to add an item for information to allow Judy to share a little bit about legislative updates. Are there any other items to be added, moved, or changed? Gordon?
Thank you. I'd like to add an item for action to address the complaint that was heard in executive session earlier tonight.
Do we have agreement to add an item for action to address the complaint we heard in executive session tonight? I just need head nods from everyone. Can't see everyone. I see head nods. Well, just want to say that we will be adding that item. Judy, you have another one?
I just wanted to move on earlier. We have 2 guests that move it up on the agenda.
Yeah.
You can
do that. Yeah,
great,
sure.
all right. It's the item from the Lane ESD report about the, they need to leave and they're very late on the agenda. So I'm open to suggestions. I'd like to move it up maybe right after comments.
Yes. So if we have agreement, we will be moving the item for future action, the Lane ESD service contract presented by Superintendent Skirto and Chair Hamilton to just before our consent agenda. Do we have agreement? Yes. Okay, well, we will move that item up to before the consent agenda. Laurel, you have your hand raised?
Yes, I would like to add a few things to the agenda. I would like to, first is, since we have no goals at this point, I'd like to propose some goals for the board, and I would like to add that to the agenda.
Where would you like to add that to the agenda?
I'm not particular about where it goes. I just like it would be, I would like it to be in the agenda. The budget committee needs goals and we need goals and we do not have any. So I would like to propose some, and if people agree, great. If not, we go and try again.
So item for information.
No? Yeah, because we could always vote if we decide to change it to an item for action. That's fine.
Okay, do we have agreement to add as an item for information, board goals? You get head nods? Okay, we will add as an item for information, board goals. Laurel, you mentioned another thing?
Yes, the other thing I would like to add to an item for information or is how board members communicate and having a policy around our communication and what we use. We know that board members use Signal, which I believe is against public meetings law because all the messages disappear immediately almost, depending on what times you pick. And so I think as a board, we should decide an ethical way we would like to have our communication.
So is that also an item for information? Is that what you're asking?
I think we'll have to have a discussion and then maybe get more information. So I guess that is an item for information. So
do we have agreement to add as an item for information, board communication? You can see Judy. Do we have head nods from everyone? Alicia. So Judy and Alicia? Okay. we can add that as an item for information. And Superintendent Dye?
In the opposite direction, we had hoped to have on the consent agenda approved memorandum of agreement with OSEA concerning landscape support from community vendors. We have a tentative agreement, but that's not yet been ratified, and it won't be until the 6th of February, so we'd like to remove that from this consent agenda and bring it to the next meeting.
Do we have an agreement to remove from the consent agenda the OSEA memorandum?
I couldn't hear all of that.
Right, go say it again, Andy.
Removing from the consent agenda approval of the memorandum of agreement with OSEA concerning landscaping support from community vendors. The ratification vote is not concluded and will not be until the 6th of February, so it will be placed on the February 15th agenda as a consent item.
Okay, it will be removed from this agenda. Are there any other changes, movement in the agenda, removal? Gordon?
Thanks. I just want to go back to the issue about communication. As far as my understanding is, to change the agenda takes either unanimous consent or a majority vote. And we didn't have either of those for that item. And to me, it seems like something that would be better to either have questions in and get legal advice from in a memo before we put time on the meeting. So I myself would not support spending time on tonight's meeting doing that, but if we're going to vote, we should have a vote and see if there's a majority to do it or not.
If that happens, we need to vote for everything that has been added because we didn't vote on everything appropriately.
We either need unanimous consent or a vote.
No, I didn't see any head nods.
The other items had unanimous consent. This item does not, so Laurel, if you want to make a motion, we can have it seconded and then vote.
I didn't give a head nod for any of the other things because I couldn't see any head nods. And also we're not allowed straw polls based on Robert's rules. So we need to vote on everything that has been added to the agenda then. If we're going to follow, all of a sudden, after I place something, the Black board member asks for something to be placed on the agenda, all of a sudden, now Gordon is asking for a certain kind of vote, when before that wasn't an issue.
So Laurel, nobody.
That's his bias.
Nobody indicated opposition to any of the other requests for changes in the agenda. So
That wasn't the question asked.
the question was asked.
The question needs to ask, is there anybody opposed? That wasn't the question that was ever asked.
Laurel, do you have opposition to any of the agenda items that we have changed on the agenda?
You're singling me out now, and that is unprofessional and not okay. What I'm saying is this should be added. Gordon is singling me out after all the other ones. I did not see the head nods of everybody. So I would like an actual vote for all of the items so we can be fair and not just single out the Black board member as you and Gordon seem to do every meeting.
Okay, I will ask all the board members for any of the agenda items. Is there anyone who objects to any of the agenda items? We've already heard Gordon ask for us to bring the last one to a vote. I'll go through all of them.
I don't remember them all.
I will go through all of them. Does anybody object to adding
Thank you.
Judy's request for an item for information to update us on legislative action? Please speak up because I cannot see everybody on the screen.
So, Maya, sorry, are you saying without objection? So if I have an objection, now is my turn to speak, right?
Turn to
So-
speak.
So the
Is there-
question is, without objection, should we put this on the agenda under items for, in this case, it was items for action, correct?
It was an item for information. So
Items
we're
for
going back to
information.
one.
All right, thank you,
Speak
Bob.
up. You object to adding Judy's item for information to the agenda regarding the legislative update. then that remains added to the agenda. The next one was moving the Lane ESD service contract item for future action further up in the agenda to just before the consent agenda. Are there any objections to making that movement in the agenda? Please speak up. Okay, that shift in the agenda stands. The next agenda item was the addition of an item for action to take action on the complaint we just heard in executive session. Is there any objection?
I have an objection to that.
Okay, Gordon, would you please make a motion?
Yes,
Add this or not?
I move that we add to the agenda an item for action on taking action on the complaint we heard in executive session.
Is there a second? Okay, Gordon moves to add to the agenda action on the item, the complaint we just heard in executive session, and Michelle Shu seconds. Is there discussion? Laura?
I think we need more time to discuss this. And I think we are rushing something that, and I believe that is unethical, since it is us deciding about us in a complaint.
Are there any other comments? Michelle?
In discussion with our attorney, the legal advice was that we still have to make a decision on it because there's no other body that can make a decision. So the decision still rests with our board.
Is there any other discussion? I'll raise my hand. I just want to mention that we ended our executive session 20 minutes early, and nobody indicated any desire to continue discussing or asking questions. So I think that's worth noting. Laurel?
Yes, so in executive session, we can only talk about what actions we can do. We can't really dissect what is happening. And I am saying that, yes, obviously we have to make a decision because that is how our policy stands right now. Though our policy in and of itself seems to be very unethical, that we get to just be the judge and jury for ourselves. I do believe that it would behoove us and be a careful behavior for a board to say, we would like someone else to look at this and to make sure we have acted above and beyond reproach. This shows we care about that. To rush this through shows we do not care about ethics.
Laurel, the motion on the table is whether to add it to the agenda or not, so we need to limit our discussion as to whether to add it or not and not discuss the actual decision for action. Judy?
Well, that's interesting because Michelle just said something else and you did not correct her, but you are correcting me, Maya, and that is inappropriate. If you're going to correct people, which you should not, your only job is to guide the meeting, you need to be fair and unbiased in your behavior.
Judy?
I just want to say that to Laurel's point, I think what I'd like to do, given the policy we have, I just going to say that I think you bring up some good points. I'm going to recommend at the end of the meeting that we put on looking at our policy for complaint review for a future meeting.
Thursday.
To amend it to see what we can do when someone's involved.
I want to I want to point out that we just cleared the room of a handful of students who were here to be honored because we are at 7:45 in our meeting. This is not how we need to be conducting ourselves when we have students here to honor. I'm going to call the question on this vote. All those in favor of adding to the agenda?
Calling the question means asking for a vote to call the question. We are conducting ourselves as a board and responsibly.
No, we're not behaving responsibly when a room of students just left the meeting. Does anybody object?
I am not there because I cannot be there because you refuse to bring security back to the meeting.
No.
Maya,
Alicia?
is there a way to pause this? Because we need to finish this discussion. Will we be able to get the students back in to pause this and honor them?
Andy is working on it. I'm going to call a recess. We'll be back momentarily.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for waiting.
I am not there. I cannot see anything that's happening. I do know everything else was rushed through, then I was being picked.
The students walked out of the room, we're just trying to bring them back so we can honor and then pick up this conversation. That's what happened. There was about 10?
No, there was more than
More, maybe 15 students anyhow that walked out, so. I think Andy and Maya are trying to ask them to come back.
The goal here is to recess.
If we're recessed, what is going on then?
Thanks for coming back.
Would you guys want us to stand? Well, I think if you kind of turn around right there, I think that's good, so you're facing. So I have a speech, I'm able to still do it. So you go back here.
Before we take a picture, I'd just like to acknowledge this is the first state championship team, volleyball team in the school's history. You are an inspiration to absolutely every student athlete in this district, in particular, current and aspiring female student athletes. It takes a whole lot to do what you did. I'm really, really proud of you. Nothing can ever take this away. Very, very proud of you.
Andy.
Okay, fine.
Yes, please proceed.
Yes, I think to turn on.
So. All right. My name is Martine Wacky and I'm the Shelton head volleyball coach. And I have the privilege this evening to introduce and share this amazing group of student athletes. Our volleyball season starts mid-August, but many of these athletes are conditioning and preparing for the season way all summer and in our off season. During our season, they train, they compete 5 to 6 days a week, all through early November. 2.5 to 3 hour practices, long bus rides, while maintaining the full course load. We had to be driven and dedicated. I'm so proud to say that our team's average GPA is a 3.8, with many of our team enrolled in National Honor Society, IHS, IB, AP courses, dual immersion, and involved with our ASB and multi-sport athletes. This team came in with big goals, achievable goals, and the dream to win the state title. We talked daily about our goals, positionally, mentally, physically, what we needed from each other. We had great practices, we had hard practices. We often reminded each other that every ball touch mattered, and it could be the touch that could make us win state. Heading into the state tournament, only 2 of our players had ever been there due to COVID. This environment would be like nothing else we had seen all year. Portland sailing teams busing hundreds of their students for every match from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And they cheer on their teams and literally shake the entire gym. It's a new gym, new lines, new officials. We were on the side of the bracket that we wanted to be on. With each round, we adapted, we found our way, building confidence and excitement. We were getting closer each match to getting to face the team we were 0-3 all season. The team we all wanted to beat. November 5th, a day I know we will all remember. We were ready, we were prepared. We absolutely just had to play fully and devoted for each other. We felt so much support from teams around Oregon that day wishing us luck. Nelson, Westview, Roseburg, showing up to cheer and fill our student section in their homemade Sheldon t-shirts. Our parents competing with 300 plus Jesuit students. It was absolutely a beautiful scene. It was up to us. Losing the first set, we were not rattled. I could see the fight in your eyes. We played the next 3 sets beautifully. It was almost flawless. The momentum was in our court and we finished. We're so strong together. Congratulations on being the first Sheldon volleyball team to win state and for representing 4J with the volleyball state title since Churchill did in 1974.
Wow.
As I announce your name, you just wave. Junior outside hitter number 12, Emma Brown, is at a violin lesson right now. Senior setter number 13, Bo Brugman. Basketball for Northwest Nazarene University next fall. She's first team all league, first team all state, first team all tournament team, candidate for Gatorade Player of the Year. Senior libero number 14, Ellie Brugman. Playing volleyball for Eastern Washington next year. First team all league, first team all state, and first team all tournament team. Senior outside hitter number 8, Glenn Fife. Playing beach volleyball for the University of Utah next fall. First team all league, all state team honorable mention, and 6A finals player of the match. Senior middle blocker number 11, Gabriella Harms, who we missed all season with an injury, but absolutely part of the team. Gabby will be attending Northwest Nazarene University next fall as a triathlete. Junior setter number 7, Alyssa Lilly. All league. Senior setter opposite number 16, Alessia Lafasi. Next fall, she'll be back in Italy, completing her senior year of high school. Junior outside hitter number 12, Jordan McKibben. Junior libero number 4, Reagan Miller. Middle blocker number 6, Gracie Robertson. Senior middle blocker number 5, Jaden Sprouse. University next fall. Freshman outside hitter number 10, Tiana Tuyuri. Senior middle blocker number 1, Caitlin Wood. For Rocky Mountain College next fall. First team all league, second team all state, 17 kills, 0 errors in our state final match. Our amazing team manager, senior Shayna Landrum. Did I say that wrong?
No, that's right.
A forever thank you to Ricky Rodriguez for being the AD who jumps in and helps whenever and wherever needed. Laura Baker, our athletic trainer, who's just a gift to our athletes, to our families, who supported us every day in so many ways. Team, I thank you for your incredible season. One state, one dream.
And what's our coach's name?
Me?
Yeah.
Martine?
Martine. Great job.
She was also the coach of the year.
Where are the fans? Congratulations. Really, that's
Okay.
Carrie?